hundreds of billions of naira buying the latest SUVs. And then they will tell you that, you know, they have invested 200 billion, 100 billion on agriculture, only for them to turn around again to begin to import rice that they're going to share to the people. They will not be able to show you the farms and say, oh, this is the farm. Look at this farm. Look at this mechanized farm. I mean, see, you know what I mean? Like, do you know that a barrel of crude oil is currently sold for, I think, $76, 93 or 96 cents, or $77 per barrel. Do you know what the barrel of palm oil is worth? That barrel of palm oil, red oil, cooking oil, $168 per barrel. Palm oil is more valuable. It is more like, earns you more forex than crude oil can. And you have land in the eastern part of Nigeria, for example. If, for example, if 50,000, let's say 60 or 100,000 hectares of land are kind of like cultivated, right? Just to plant palm kernels for this palm oil, and then created the cottage industries that will process all these palm, the palm kernels and what have you. That in 5 years' time, right? I'm just using one product now, not like in many other things that some of you have an idea of. If these eastern governors, because like they have this very lovely rainforest there too, right? And it is so conducive, by the way, for growing this, palm kernel, palm, what have you, palm oil. Simply means, you see, they can be making, and this one has nothing to do with crude oil money that everybody is sharing. This is just money that you have billions of naira that you are spending on cars for public, for politicians and what have you, right? So they can be making more than $100 billion a year from that place, and they can harvest that for the next 50 years non-stop. I'm just saying, And similarly, like if you go to other parts of the southern parts, northern parts, there are actual products, like a farm produce, right, that can hand you serious forex. But this guy was sharing a video. He actually did share a video of their tomato farm. Then he also commissioned a tomato sort of processing factory in Burkina Faso. So somebody said that in 10 years' time, all of us who are seeing things happening in Burkina Faso, some of them look so pedestrian, some of them look so ordinary. In 10 years' time, they will have the best and the biggest economy in Africa. Because of what? They are dedicating or redirecting their own little scarce resources into building something that will last in the interest of millions of their people, not in the interest of the few who have taken over power for themselves. So in 10 years' time, not only will they be debt-free, they will be economically viable, and they may be one of the richest, if not the richest countries in Africa. They are not taking loans from anybody. They won't even give them. So they're not taking loans like others are taking loans right now. Now they are working on building, infrastructure around their own resources. It's like investing in something that will outlive you. But the consistency around that, right, is what that really matters. You don't have that in that contraption. One single state in Nigeria can be, far, far richer than the entire Burkina Faso. I mean, due to the mismanagement of the country in the past. But in 10 years' time, there could be a place where all of them go come the queue for their own visa again. Imagine. while the 10 years, the first 10 years under this APC, it is, they have stolen your youth. If you are in your, let's say if you are 22, when this APC happened in 2015, right now you are 32. So they've already stolen your youth from you. Your adulthood, which you are about to get into, it's also being stolen from you. And before you know it, you'll be in your 50s. And you look back and you'll be like, God damn it, man. 20 years of, I'm just saying. Because that's exactly what this is like for some people who were in their 20s in 1999. 25 years after that, 26 years after that, they are in their late 40s, early 50s now. And they can't really say, lucky you, to those of you who have one or two things to point to and say, well, I thank God I have this. I thank God I achieved that. Like, the largest percentage of the people have these 25 years, last 26 years, stolen from them totally. They are old now. And the APC is even doing everything to make it even worse. Before Kolu left Nigeria, right, for France, AKPABIOLE said Tinubu has finally signed the creation of a North Central Development Commission. It's created development commissions for 5 geopolitical zones, except the North Central, right, which is the Middle Belt, right? But indeed, he finally signed that. I don't know why, but he also said that Tinubu also signed the creation of being a foundation of a school of something technology in Zamfara, in Nasarawa. Then another school in Rano, in Kano, Polytechnic. Listen to this.
In future endeavors. Let me also inform our colleagues that Mr. President has also assented to the North Central Development Commission Establishment Bill 2024 in order to bring development to the grassroots. And for this, we congratulate the good people of the North Central region of Nigeria. And then we wish them more development, particularly peace, as we forge ahead in the task of nation building. The clerk. Mr. President also signed the bill establishing the Federal Polytechnic Rano in Kano. We want to thank Mr. President for this gesture and wish the good people of Kano well and peace, and pray that all who pass through that institution will have the best of life and contribute their quota to nation building. Senator Kawu, you seem to be very happy. You are smiling. You're happy. Okay. Thank you. Right. Clark. Federal Polytechnic. Kano. The amendments to the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria bill have been signed into an act of parliament by Mr. President. And I pray that this will bring more food to the table and solve the food scarcity problem in some parts of the country. I thank Mr. President for the speedy reaction to all the bills sent to him by the National Assembly. Federal University of Health Sciences and Technology Establishment Bill has now been signed into an Act of Parliament. That is at SAFE, if I'm right. It's actually TSAFE. Survey in Zamfara State. If I don't pronounce it well, please excuse me. But the major thing is that the institution has been signed into an act of parliament and fully established by law. And we thank Mr. President also for this.
Okay. So here is the drama part. You remember Nwoko, the man that is calling for the creation of Obioma states. No, sorry, Anioma states. Nwoko. What's his wife's name again? That's an actress. I can't remember her name, but you know where I'm talking about, from Delta, where he has decamped to APC, from PDP. And some PDP guys on the floor kind of were murmuring, you know, like, then Baru, who happened to be, sorry, Barau, who happened to be the deputy Senate president to AKPABIOLE, now said, it kind of came to his defense by saying PDP is divided anyway, so who doesn't know that? Said, so AKPABIOLE now asked the minority leader and said, listen, if you are going to sanction him for crossing to APC, who's going to sanction him? Is it going to be, which faction? Is it going to be the weakest faction? Or is it going to be Bala Mohammed's faction? I don't know why they didn't mention that of Atifku's faction. Because by now, I think it's about 3 factions now. Watch this.
His co-faction, and so on and so forth. Even a boy on the street knows this. And why is the minority leader telling us? There is a faction, Mr. President. Do you belong to a wicked faction or Bala Mohammed faction? Which faction do you belong? Mr. President, there are factions. So what our colleague did, there are 2 factions, 2 divisions. 2 divisions. There's wicked division. Mr. President, we have the wicked faction. We also have Bala Mohammed, but who has his own faction. Even in Ekiti State. So, Mr. President, what he has done is in line with our constitution. It's in line with our constitution.
Distinguished Deputy Senate President, your point of order, in your submission, you failed to ask the minority leader one small question. Who is your national secretary? Why I'm mentioning this to you is that the governors have their national secretary, the other members have their national secretary.
According to constitutional order.
And I mean, I'm not supposed to know, but I am also a Nigerian and a politician. But I know that for them, once there is a division in the NWC, not at the state level, once there is a division in the NWC, the National Working Committee, any member of the party has the right to look for succor elsewhere. Very fundamental and constitutionally guaranteed. So if the minority leader can answer me, currently, who is the national secretary? Because the national secretary is leading a different faction, and the other national, in fact, there is one of our colleagues, Sam Daddy, Senator. We don't even have to go there. Your point of order is upheld.
Has asked me a question. No. He can't recognize you when he asked me a question and I have no answer.
Sorry, leader, because the different factions are in court, let him answer so that he will voice a fait accompli on the court. You know why I'm saying that? It is sub judice for the Senate or any member of the Senate to take over the work of the justices of the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court. Since I'm aware that the different factions are struggling in court, let him answer the question. So answer.
Mr. President.
Answer.
Mr. President, I want to say at this point that the PDP is a law-abiding institution organization. And so the Court of Appeal made a pronouncement on the secretaryship of the party. And the party is adhering to that Court of Appeal decision until it is otherwise ruled.
What has the Supreme Court said?
The Court of Appeal has ruled that Senator Anyanwu is the secretary of the party, and that until the Supreme Court decides otherwise, and the party as a law-abiding organization is abiding to.
What about your governors? What did your governors say? Your governors recognize minority leader. We are going to set up this ad hoc committee to look into your party affairs. Answer my question. Your governors recognize Sam Dadi. Your governors recognize Anyanwu as the secretary of the party.
Well, the party is an organization. The party is an organization. The party is an organization. The governor has a forum. And so as members of the party, they are entitled to their opinion. But as the party, we recognize the pronouncements of the court and we abide by the rulings of the court.
Well, for me, if you can, I will not set up the ad hoc committee now because of the fact that people are still running between Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. But if you can convince the Supreme Court, I will. No, I don't. You see, there is a motion on ground that we should set up ad hoc committee to look into the crisis. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because I don't want to take over the work of the court. So please, minority leader, don't be afraid. I won't set up the ad hoc committee. I still decide. Yes, leader of the Senate.
Nuisance, Lily.
I mean, that's the drama part. That's the kind of like the court jesters, the clowns, who are your lawmakers, lawbreakers, who are lawmakers. So I'm not one of those who probably expect anything good to come out of them, all of them, but pointing this out to the general public is, is welcome. You can possibly put it that way. But here is someone who was talking about the same divided, PDP, and talking about the opposition and what they stand to lose or gain, if something that he suggested is done or not done. So listen to this.
Dr. Bati, I think let's remain focused. What is wrong with the APC is what is wrong with Nigeria. And my view, and I think the view of most Nigerians, that our democracy should give something much more better than what we have today. And I am not making any new proposal. If you have been following the debate during the merger negotiations that produced the APC, all these arguments have been raised about the kind of leadership a political party should have and what is required for a party to really position itself to direct elected representative to meet the expectation of citizens. And if we argue that APC has failed, the failure of APC is largely due to its inability to meet a number of some of those criteria. Yes, I was a member of the National Working Committee of the APC. I was part and parcel of the APC from formation to possibly the present day, But that does not disqualify some of us from highlighting some of the limitations of the APC. And I think in terms of the problem of democracy, what were first the problem of Nigerians with PDP that led to the defeat of PDP in 2015? The major issue is that there is no competition within the party. The culture of imposition has taken over the party, so much so that it is predictable. Anybody who has close relationship with Abuja, with the presidency, can pick ticket at any level of the party without bothering to contract relationship with other members of the party. And I think those were some of the issues that we used to campaign against the PDP and made the APC popular. And Nigerians trusted us and believed that we were capable of producing a party that can drive the process of changing Nigeria, which was the campaign mantra in 2015. Unfortunately, I am not shy. We failed, largely because we ended up with another variant of PDP. The culture of imposition took over. Yes, we fought, and this is part of my grievance with President Asuaju. Asuaju knew very well. We stood up and faced what you call the cabal in the presidency.